Hello once again, Niner Faithful, and welcome to another episode of 49ers Playbook on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game. Today we're looking forward to the wildcard round and seeing how the 49ers and Seahawks will match up. First of all, thank you so much to all of you who jumped on board our Patreon this week. It's your support that really allows this channel to thrive and keep pumping out as much content as we can. If you'd like to support the channel in any way, I'll have links for that below. A lot is made of how hard it is to beat a team 3 times, but when you look at history, the odds are in San Francisco's favor, and the tape is even more in favor of the 49ers. When you look at how both teams match up, San Francisco looks to outclass Seattle in just about every way. Seattle has a defense that does play sound assignment football much of the time, but has its weaknesses, and the offense has been struggling to have any sort of efficiency. They relied on great individual efforts, not necessarily great execution of scheme to beat their opponents. In the end, this is a matchup I really feel good about San Francisco's chances to come out of the wildcard round with a win, but we'll take a look at the film and see why I believe the 49ers are so heavily favored. You're watching Johnny Dale's Football Academy. While Geno Smith started out the season red hot, over the first 10 games he completed nearly 70% of his passes with 17 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. But over his last 5 games, he's completing only 63% of his passes with 8 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Why? Here, this is the opening play of the game against the Rams, and Seattle is going to run something we run a ton of, a drift concept, where you run hard play action and then hit a drift route in behind it. One thing that has been getting Geno in trouble is he's locking onto his receivers. Here, Metcalf is covered really well by Ramsey, but he's going there anyway, and Ramsey undercuts the route. Here, there's another interception from the same sort of thing. They're running something we run a lot of, a slide concept, where you'll fake a run one way and come back with a 3-level stretch the other. Right out of the boot, he has the flat, but it's not enough, so he moves on. And he's got the corner route, but it's like he's locking on to Metcalf on some of these. He doesn't pull the trigger on the corner route. As he looks to Metcalf, Ernest Jones drops into the throwing lane. He holds it and gets pressured and then forces the ball into Metcalf and is picked off. I just wonder, where are his eyes working on these plays? Some of it is a mix between him and Metcalf. So here they've got off coverage in a form of cover 4. He wants a deep out to Metcalf. This isn't bad timing on when the ball is out, but Metcalf doesn't run a good route. He never threatens the corner inside, so the corner is sitting on either a fade or an out route. And this is a tough throw. This is the combine throw from the far hash to the sideline to see if a guy can drive the ball. Not a great route by Metcalf. The ball is a little behind his receiver, and Geno doesn't have the arm strength to make it up on these kinds of throws, and it's initially called a pick but was reversed after the replay. Here's another example of throwing something up with pressure, and again, I wonder, where are his eyes? So they've got Lockett and Metcalf on a double post concept, and Carolina is showing 3 deep, which this is a play then that would look to put the deep safety in a horizontal stretch. The Panthers get good pressure and Geno just throws it up, but the read should be on the deep safety, and you have the safety flat-footed for the first post and bracket coverage for Metcalf. Why are you throwing this ball? On top of it, he's falling back, can't get much on it, and he's going to have to make an incredible layered throw deep down the field to complete this, and is picked off. And then another example, I wonder, where are his eyes? The Seahawks start out by motioning a tight end across, and with no one traveling, this reveals zone coverage. With a single safety, you're looking at cover 3. They're running a sprint option here, and the progression is flat to the deep out. Right at the snap, the corner jumps Metcalf on the flat route. Once you see that corner jump, you know you got zone, you gotta hit the deep out route. Instead, he drifts, and the ball comes out late and gets picked off. He's also staring a lot of these routes down. One thing I saw over and over again was he repeatedly wasn't moving defenders with his eyes. Here he is against the Chiefs. They're running a now route paired with a deep option route. This will be a fade versus middle of the field closed, and a deep out versus middle of the field open. Or in other words, if there's a single safety, it's a fade. If there's two safeties, it's a deep out. If Geno is going to go to the fade to Marquise Goodwin, he needs to, at minimum, keep his eyes to the middle of the field to hold the safety, and then rip it to the fade. What would be better is to look the safety off, turn his hips, and then hit the fade. But that's not what Geno does. Right from the dropback, he looks to Goodwin, and the safety bails over the top. So much so that Goodwin sees the safety and thinks they've rotated into a two-safety defense and runs a deep out. And it's a pick right to the safety. From the end zone, you can see how quickly Geno locks onto Goodwin, and it's why the safety can jump the route. Here's another play. The Seahawks are again running a double post concept with Metcalf on the outside. At the snap, Geno looks straight to Metcalf. Because he doesn't look off the deep safety, he can't lead Metcalf into space. It's a tight throw, so the ball is a little behind, and the corner is able to break on it and break up the pass. Again, Geno would need to move the safety to try and hit this throw. Over and over again, I saw this kind of stuff from Geno. It wasn't just on the deep passes. A lot of times there were short passing concepts where they needed him to move a defender with his eyes to get somebody open, and it just didn't happen. So the keys for the 49ers are going to be to lock up in tight man coverage on Metcalf with Mooney Ward, follow Geno's eyes, and get home with the pass rush. They do that, and Geno is going to have a hard time throwing the ball. To make sure you're leaving it up to Geno, you first have to stop the run. So Seattle's run game is a lot of short runs, and every once in a while they'll break a nice gain, but it's not just from high execution from the offensive line. Most of what I saw were schemed wins or great individual efforts. Here they get a good gain, and it's set up by the scheme of the alignment. They're on a hash, and so they're going to run this play to the field side. So they first spread out Metcalf and Lockett really wide in a stacked formation. This presents the threat of a screen pass out here, and with LA playing a 5-man front, they have some confusion on the run fits of who's supposed to widen, so the safety and Wagner widen out. This looks like a cover 6 call, and so the corner should be the forced defender, the safety have the inside of the receivers, and Wagner should have the C gap, but he's widened. Either he or the safety need to have the C gap here, or the other linebacker needs to take it and the backside safety have the run fit to the weak side. In any case, they're not being gap sound. Seattle is then going to come with a counter run, and you see Jones has his first step toward the A gap, and then tries to recover, but they have no good C gap filler, with Wagner so far outside, and Seattle gets a good chunk gain. So after LA got a chance to talk about the play, here they are again, and they're going to run a zone run, which the previous play is the counter to this one. But notice LA's alignment now. They've got the two far stacked receivers covered with the corner and safety, and Wagner is inside the formation. Now there's no hesitation as to who has what gaps. Seattle also leaves the 5 technique unblocked with the extra linebacker in the formation, and they get nothing. Here they're going to try and run a wide zone, and you see the backside tackle isn't able to get onto the 3 technique, who's able to blow up the play with early penetration. They don't get a lot of wins in the run game from plays like this that are expected for guys to just win their matchups in execution. Here they're trying to run another wide zone, and the guard isn't able to execute a reach block on the 3 technique. You also have the tight end and tackle unsure of who is supposed to pick up the end man. Normally these guys are taught that you don't peel back to block that end man on these runs for anything. That's the quarterback's job to take that guy on a rollout, and they get no gain. When they had a good gain, it was from really good individual efforts. Here the Panthers fill the run gap well, but there's a broken tackle for a big gain. For the 49ers, they are very good at maintaining their run fit gaps. Here we have a 5-man front, and Washington is trying to run a counter run. We're going to have a scrape exchange on the outside, so Al-Shaair will drive inside, and Warner will exchange over the top of it. So when the counter comes, they think they've won down, and the tight end comes to lead around and seal Warner off. But Warner knows he's got a safety to the outside, so we fill our run gaps perfectly. Here we are again, and Washington is again going to try and come with a counter run. This time we're in a 4-man front with a single safety defense. So Hufanga has the C gap, and Jordan Willis is the edge. They read run well, and you can see Hufanga filling his gap, and Willis, once he reads the tight end coming across as a blocker, will drop out and maintain outside contain. Again, he understands his gap assignment, and it stuffs the play. For a rushing attack that relies a lot on getting guys out of their gaps or breaking tackles, this is the worst defense to try and go against, and explains why Seattle has only managed 13 offensive points over 2 games. Here Washington is again going to get stuffed, this time on a power run. So they're trying to run this G lead play where they'll block down, have the tight end kick out the end man, and then pull the guard up through the hole. One big problem. You're tasking a tight end with blocking Nick Bosa. Bosa blows up the tight end right off the snap, so he's then able to stand up the pulling guard. Spence, who's a rotational guy, so we're not even talking about the 49ers starting defensive line here. He takes on the double team, then sheds the guard to get in on the tackle. But Spence and Bosa both taking on 2 guys allows Greenlaw to stay unblocked and fill the hole. So here they are against Seattle. The Seahawks are trying a trap play where they'll have the guard block the end man, the tackle get up on the linebacker, and pull the other guard to kick out the defensive tackle. McGill crosses the face of the center though, and the quick penetration blows up the whole play, and then again you see the great open field tackling, this time by Jimmy Ward. I just don't see Seattle being able to run on our defense. But Seattle can hurt you if you let them. Here, Seattle is going to bring a 3-level stretch across the field. This is a long developing play. As the Panthers try and pick up Metcalf on the crosser, it leaves Goodwin open, and Geno hits him for a big gain. You can't let them use these speedy receivers on these long developing plays. They will hurt you. On offense, I don't expect us to be able to run on them all day. One thing you see from the film is that Seattle is much better against the run than the numbers say they are. They don't really give up a lot of 5, 6, 8-yard runs. There's a ton of 2, 3, and 4-yard runs, but they are susceptible to the explosive run off misdirection or over pursuit, which is the same principle. If you're trying to win play side every time, they play very sound assignment football. Here the Panthers are trying a wide zone, and you see the interior guys eat up the double teams, allow the off-ball players to fill their gaps, and it's a short gain. This is what I expect a lot, a grinded out run game. If you get an explosive run, it's usually off some sort of misdirection. Here the Panthers are running a split zone where it looks like a wide zone, has a counter block action of a counter, but is an inside running play. You can see the action gets Barton out of his gap, and the Panthers get a big gain. Here Carolina is running a counter run. The counter action in the backfield slows up Barton just a tad, and so he over pursues trying to make it up, and they again get a big gain. Here, the Rams motion a receiver, Powell, and will come with an inside reverse to him. You can see how the run action causes Muse to hesitate, allows the lineman to get up on him, and LA gets a big gain. Think of the 49ers doing something like this with Deebo Samuel. Here they're going to motion Powell again, and this time come with a wide receiver reverse to Tutu Atwell that goes for a touchdown. You can see how the run action causes Irvin to lose contain, and if you have no edge, you have no chance. Here we are with us running Christian McCaffrey on a wide zone. Trent Williams is able to cut off the backside, and the Seahawks over-pursue frontside, and McCaffrey cuts it back for a huge gain. The keys for this game is you want to grind the game out. Follow Geno's eyes and get after him, and he'll give you chances to make plays, like here when Bosa got pressure and he threw a pick that was called back for a very questionable roughing the passer call. After watching the tape, I feel really good about our chances come Saturday. I hope this made you feel a little bit better about it and made you look forward to sweeping the Seahawks and sending them home early. So hopefully we can cruise to a win over the Seahawks Saturday and get out injury-free and with possibly 8 days off until the next game. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Niners.